would be honored if you would join us.
This is Alfred Hitchcock. Having lived with Psycho since it was a gleam in my camera's eye, I now exercise my parental rights in revealing a number of significant facts about this slightly extraordinary entertainment.
Greetings and welcome to another YouTube episode of Film Stories with me, Dan Cooper. Today's a quick one, but it's an important one. It's one of those landmark moments in cinema history, certainly for the US at least. So you all know the deal, how it works with a trip to the cinemas these days. You hit up online to find out what time the film is showing, and you head along for that time, and all going to plan, you get there for the start of the film, and that's pretty much the way it works. And you kind of feel like that's the way it's always worked, but not really, or at least not in the US anyway. Psycho, released in 1960, and changed the way that the cinema system worked, insofar that movie theatres in America up until that point tended to show their films in a rolling format. So they might have a single feature or a double feature. They might have serials, adventure serials, perhaps cartoons in front of the main feature. But they would simply play their content over and over and over again. As soon as the content would finish, they would simply start it all over again and play it again. And you would, as a patron of the movie theatre, there would be no real way to tell when the movie would start and when the block of content would begin. And you would simply just kind of turn up, pay your money, take your chances, go in, and more often than not, find yourself halfway through the film. And it wasn't uncommon for people to end up watching the second half of the film and then as the film would restart, and then watching the first half. That was simply the way it was. From the reading that I have done, the research that I have looked into, it seems that it was in the 50s. It was different in Britain, and showtimes were more common here. But when Hitchcock released Psycho, he'd already broken the mold in a number of ways in the film's production, which it's a very long and well-documented story that I'm not going to get into here, but needless to say that Paramount, who he was under contract to, refused to make the film. They saw his kind of perverse little B movie slasher as being just too far on the fringes of acceptability. And that was Hitchcock's intention. He wanted to provoke censors when he made Psycho. He wanted to provoke audiences. He wanted to provoke Hollywood. So Paramount refused to fund it. So Hitchcock ultimately funded the film himself. It's one of the reasons he shot it in black and white, was to save money rather than using colour film stock. You got to remember, at this point, Hitchcock was coming off the back of three really kind of grand, rich Technicolor epics, in not least of them Vertigo, along with North by Northwest. That would have been 1959. So 1960, Paramount simply weren't interested. So he funded the film himself. He also used crew from his television show, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, to keep costs down. So he'd already broken the mold in the way that he'd made the film. And also, if you've seen Psycho, I won't spoil it, but if you've seen Psycho, you'll know that the structure of the film is also mold breaking, pardon me. And it's perhaps because of those twists within the film that Hitchcock was adamant that he didn't want the film spoiled. And he didn't want audiences walking in halfway through because of the way the movie theatre system worked in America. He didn't want his audiences to walk in halfway through and ask the person next to them, "Oh, well, what's happened?" And he wanted them to enjoy the experience as it was intended to be screened. So he demanded that movie theatres in America, begin using showtimes. So audiences would turn up and see the film from the beginning through until the end. And to facilitate this, huge posters were put up. There was a marketing campaign which was handled by Paramount. They agreed to distribute the film. Although Hitchcock had funded it and the filming of it himself and the production, Paramount did agree to distribute it. And so a huge marketing campaign went into this, where there were giant kind of standees of Hitch with signs saying that no one, not even the Queen of England, will be admitted once the film has begun. There were huge billboards saying the same, and this created a real buzz, a really, I suppose, a kind of pre-internet viral campaign. And while cinemas were initially reticent to adopt this new method of using showtimes, because they believed that it would mean reduced profits overall, when patrons began to turn up en masse to these screenings, because there were now rigid screening times, and were queuing around the block to get in, the cinema owners realised, wait a second, we can bring all these people in for this showing, and then they'll be gone. And they realised that over the course of a day, their per head business could actually be much more profitable by using showtimes. And that's exactly what happened. Psycho was instrumental, certainly in the US, in changing the way that we consumed cinema. So the next time that you pop onto your app, or you arrive at your little indie cinema or multiplex in time for a showing, in some small way, you are paying tribute to Alfred Hitchcock's masterpiece. That's me for this week. I told you it was a short and sweet one, but a really interesting little historical nugget of a film story. Don't forget, you can catch more film stories here on the rest of the YouTube channel. You can find the podcasts over at for any good podcast provider. You can find us on Facebook at Film Stories Online, on Twitter at filmstories.pod, and our website, filmstories.co.uk, has lots of up-to-date film news and also links to our Film Stories print magazine. It is a thing of beauty. Please do go and check it out. Do like, do subscribe, do comment. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon with another film story. Bye-bye.